huge headliner bands that are suddenly realizing that, like, oh, maybe we can't pull together what we think we can pull together.
Sure,
Now, there's
exactly.
all kinds of other, corporate machinations behind that drive that. But I would hope that more people, like, for example, say you can't go see the Black Keys at a big arena this year. So, like, maybe you want to take a fraction of that money and go to something like Beard Space, or go to something like Sweet Juice, or go to Phil's show at Godfrey Daniels.
Yeah.
You could see 20 shows for the price of going to see one band in a giant arena, and it's, for lack of a better term, it's going to blow anyway, because it's a giant arena and it's not Fish.
And here's an even better idea. You could just pocket all of that money and go see stuff at the Levitt SteelStacks.
Guy with the segue.
Right,
Boom.
which is totally free. And joining us now, Shayna Super. You have an amazing title now. What is it? Like the director of the SteelStacks?
Yeah, so I'm executive director for Levitt SteelStacks, and I'm still the ArtsQuest programming manager as well. So I got both those titles in there.
Yeah, so there you go. Not only the
interest?
Levitt stage all summer long, but Musikfest all free for the most part. There's some obviously headlining Musikfest acts, but for the most part, there are a lot of free concerts. So thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So the focus tonight is going to be the Levitt stage, because even though Musikfest is 60-ish days away, that's still a lot of music between now and then. So we're going to focus on Levitt since there's so much great stuff going on that stage. But congrats on becoming, the executive director of that Levitt stage. I mean, that's such a cool opportunity for you. And the Levitt Foundation is such a cool thing that I want to make sure we do talk about that first. That I don't know that a lot of people fully grasp or get what that organization is all about and what it does across the country.
Yeah. So I'll start with like a story about the founder. His name was Mortimer Levitt. And when he was young in Connecticut growing up, he would stand outside ticketed concert venues, couldn't afford tickets. And just in that moment was like, I wish that there was free music that I could see. So later in life, when he becomes financially able to, they open Levitt Westport, totally free venue in Connecticut. And from there, really with the help of his daughter, Liz, who sadly recently passed away.
I was going to bring up the site while you were chatting, because there's a wonderful dedication to her.
Yeah, I mean, the legacy they've left behind is crazy. I mean, it's just so impactful. But with her help, they became based in LA and added Levitt Pasadena, Levitt LA, and over time now there's 7 permanent Levitt venues across the country. But now there's also over 35 AMP sites, what they call AMP and Vibe sites.
Sure.
Which are basically smaller concert series that just need that extra bit of funding to be impactful. So Levitt's.
So on this map, the light blue pinpoints are the permanent stages, which includes the SteelStacks. The red ones are the ones that are these kind of pop-up stages, which are also bringing free live music to those communities.
Yeah, and then the purple ones are they're called Vibe sites, and they're more. They're within big cities, but within those cities, neighborhoods that don't see some of the arts that like the cultural hub of Chicago might, but there's other cities that aren't experiencing that same opportunity and accessibility. So they're kind of focusing on those areas to make sure that it's equitable across cities that you can see. Very artsy.
So right there, you can come to levitt.org and learn more about the organization and the locations and everything that's kind of going on. But like we said, we are lucky enough here in the eastern Pennsylvania area to have one of these permanent locations, the Levitt SteelStacks stage. And what an amazing job you did booking the lineup. I mean, when you did the reveal, you do this very cool, you keep it secret until that day, and it's a Sunday afternoon in April, and you do the reveal, and you do some the artist that designs the poster is there, and you play some and there's some live music going on, and it's just a very, very people are so excited for any news about the summer that it brings in a bunch of people, and it's such a cool day. And then the lineup this year is just so impressive.
Yeah, the season reveal, I feel like showing those videos, it just resonates so much with the audience, because post Musikfest, you do see a little bit of a drop off in that attendance, but the bands where we showed videos and people kind of connected with it in that moment, you'll still see a larger turnout for those bands. So I really tried to focus during the season reveal on some stuff that's happening after Musikfest, because there's still tons of free music after Musikfest.
Oh, so true. And actually, you're right. Some of those, the people who are on after Musikfest are some of the best ones, from my opinion, as well.
I think it's a really strong second half of the lineup. I don't know how that it just fell that way, but yeah.
Sure. So we're going to bring up some of the different, and what I would love to do is get Nate and Dan's kind of like take on some of this as we feature some of this music. What I'd like to feature is the other thing that the Levitt Foundation does is they book one band that's going to appear at all of those 7 permanent locations, maybe some of the other ones as well, but like there's someone who they book to be almost their national tour. And so I wanted to bring that up here first because it's such an impressive artist, the War and Treaty, and I wanted to let you have a chance to kind of speak to that.
Yeah, this one, they really knocked it out of the park with this one. It's fully covered by the foundation, so you get an opportunity to have bands that otherwise might not be free. And with the War and Treaty, it's been a delight for people to say, "Oh, I've got to get my tickets to that one." And I'm like, no, you've got to put your lawn chair out maybe kind of early.
Right, exactly.
But no tickets, totally free. So, it's just a really great thing that the foundation provides to its.
Sure. And Grammy winning. Right? Or Country Music Award winning, I think is what it is, and Grammy nominated. But such an impressive duo here. And let's take a listen to the War and Treaty. This is a song called Leads Me Home.
Life's a journey about getting by till you get to the by and by and meet your maker up in the big house in the sky. As you travel to and fro, sometimes you get lost trying to go back to a familiar place that you want straight away from. Oh, meet me on the other side of the railroad, where the mountain peaks and crystal streams through the valleys flow. Straight and narrow on those country roads. You will always be the one that leads me home.
So, I mean, just an incredible, just talent on display. You have that combination of very complex music, but also that very simple bluegrass shared microphone kind of approach to the vocals. I mean, you can see why they're having such success in the industry.
I like all the... Oh, sorry, Shannon.
No, go ahead.
I like, as this video rolls on, it's all the different sort of eras of like Nashville-style country music. Like when they changed... Like right there where she's on the sound stage, like standing on the thing, I was like, oh, it's very different than how it started out. But I think that's a very cool nod right there to all the different flavors of country.
Certainly. Yeah, just the War and Treaty is super impressive. And again, such a treat for the Levitt Foundation to go and get them and then allow all of these different stages across the country to be able to have it for a free show. I mean, it's just incredible.
Yeah, we had them back in 2019, and that's usually a badge of honor for us when we're programming, when you see them that it's for free and goes on and you're like, well, they're a little bit out of that free budget range for Levitt now, but we had them when we could. So to have them come back and have an audience and, have developed fans and have people remember, it's a really great opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. Flip side of that is, let's give the date on that one. So here it will be, War and Treaty is July 26th. Yes. So again, SteelStacks stage right in downtown, basically Southside Bethlehem. Lots of parking. Bethlehem sometimes knocked for lack of parking, but there is definitely plenty of parking over by ArtsQuest. So no worries there. Yeah.
I wanted to give you, Shayna, a shout out also for the ability to have someone pull out and still put on an incredible show this past weekend is
True.
amazing. And
So
I'm
true.
not just saying that because we all love Clover, which we do.
Yeah.
But just the turnaround and the ability to still pull that off. Many kudos. That's killer.
Thank you. This was definitely the closest to a show cancellation for Levitt. We have cancellations at Musikfest, and you're like, okay, who's on site today? Like, who can jump in and do another set? But this, I was like, who is going to be available June 1, a Saturday? Like, it was touch and go, but Clover's awesome, so it just worked out so well.
If I can add just another layer of awesome, Shayna also wrote to me to make sure I knew that Clover was on the stage because she knew I was a fan. So she not only booked that person, but then dropped me a note to say, in case you didn't see it, Clover's going to be on the stage this Saturday. So
it's
thank
funny
you so much for that.
When Nicole told me about it, I was like, you got to tell Phil. And she was like, no. And I was like, okay. See, everybody's looking out for you, Phil.
I love it. I love it. This is amazing. It's like, this is your life. But the opposite end of the spectrum. So there you have War and Treaty, super successful band, Grammy nominated, CMA award winning, and so on. The other side of this equation is we have on June 21st, something that actually Next Fave Band is connected to, is a all local songwriters round. So it's actually the opposite side of these are people who are trying to get up the line, both a combination of Lehigh Valley and Philadelphia based songwriters who are going to put on that kind of Nashville style songwriters round. And it's done in conjunction with the Underground Music Collective, who Gerard Longo was here in Bethlehem, moved to Nashville to kind of keep the dream going. And here's the lineup, which is a super cool, again, display of all of this amazing talent that we have. Alex Radis, Bren, Chelsea Mitchell of Dirty Dollhouse, Greg Adams of Tioga, Kufnatz and Christina Lease, we just talked about before, and then Ty Valone and Brie MC from the Groove Merchants. Shayna, again, super kudos to you for supporting this as well. Like, this is the opposite side of what this stage is about, where it's kind of supporting the local stuff.
It just, after seeing it in this past fall when it was in the Blast Furnace Room, it's an outdoor space isn't always the best listening space, but I think Levitt is. I think Levitt can be a lot.
It totally is, yeah.
We wouldn't try this at Musikfest. That would be chaos. But this, I think, is a really good opportunity for people who come out to listen to the bands. And when you think people are just coming out, people do come out just because they trust what we're going to have. But they give their feedback in the end. Like they are listening and they are making fans out of these people who come back and see them. So it's a really engaged fan base too that comes to Levitt.
Agreed. I think that's true of Bethlehem in general. Like, there's a lot of people who I bring on the show who always say, I love playing Bethlehem because the musician, the supporting people, so like all of the kind of behind the scenes people care, but then the audience cares. And so that's just a very special thing that I guess they don't always get. And so we're proud of that. And then, like you said, you get to almost tap into that and give them maybe what they want, which is maybe something that they haven't heard before. But the beautiful part about it is all these local genius, brilliant, songwriters who are, going to be on that stage that day. And I think it's such a cool thing. It's a different kind of environment for people to kind of do that. So that's Friday, June 21st, the first day of summer, is Sounds of the Underground, which is those 6 songwriters. And then the small stage, the late night stage, is also local rock bands, which were also kind of curated by UMC and Next Band. So definitely a very cool night to come out. So a couple other people we wanted to kind of highlight from and again, the full lineup is out there. It's something to kind of check out, because the ones that maybe we want to highlight tonight, it will be different than what you'll want to listen to. But these are some ones that we wanted to make sure that you were aware of, as far as being and most of the ones I picked are people who've been on the show before. But the first one I wanted to highlight, and again, we're kind of going in chronological order now, July 5th, so it's a Friday right before 4th of July. One of my absolute most favorite bands of all time now is Bandits on the Run. It's a marvel to watch them, because you before they start playing, you're seeing a cellist, a dude with an acoustic guitar and standing in front of a suitcase, and a woman who is playing either an accordion or like some other kind of child's toy. And then when they start to sing their harmonies and play their music, it's just absolute magic. So here, check out the song "We Battle Giants" by Bandits on the Run.
We battle giants. You're adventurous and curious and wonder what the top of every mountain looks like. I follow you to great heights, and we could hang out anywhere, but you wanna hang out up there. So I follow you through woods and time, down in the earth up to the skies. We battle giants together. If you move, I move. If you move, I move. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. We battle giants forever. Never always be giants. That's true. That's true. Thank God, it's my favorite thing to do. Oh, 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 oh.
Such joy in this music. Just everything they write, I think, is so amazing. Shayna, where
I'm
did
still
you-
watching it. I'm
I know,
like,
yeah.
Mesmerized.
you turned it
Mesmerized.
down. I'm just like, I'm still gonna watch this.
So yeah, again, Friday, July the 5th is, again, let's remind everybody every single time, a free show on the lawn, and it is something that everybody should come out for. And we will all be singing along. Like, that's what this is. Their music is so infectious.
My colleague Allie, who books a lot of the free shows with me, she saw them at Folk Alliance, a conference that happens in Kansas City, which is just in one hotel, and all of these bands have hotel rooms, and there's like official showcases, but at night all of the bands just push their hotel furniture to the side, and like every hotel room is a stage basically. So she saw them in their hotel room at like 2 a.m. during this conference and was like, we should bring them here. So
That doesn't shock me at all. I mean, they just have such a great, again, vibe to them, and they're that kind in person. Like, the way that, you know, most of the people who I go to ask to be on the show is after a set at the merch table. And sometimes when they're like that talented, I'm like, there's no way they're going to say yes. And within, like, before I could get the sentence out, they were like, yes, when do you want to do it? I was like, my goodness, you're just the nicest people around. Like, they're just so great. They're really wonderful people.
I got turned on to them because I braved the weather to make it to Phil's 50th birthday party up in Bethlehem earlier this year, and they were the band, and it was really something. And like Phil kept telling me, like, you have to see this, and I did.
Yeah, they are terrific, and I almost wanted to bring on more of their music, but just go see them play live or check out their catalog or all of the above. Can't recommend them enough. Again, Friday, July the 5th will be when they're playing on the Levitt stage. Shayna, you wanted to talk about Happy Landing, who are playing July 18th?
I did. I think one of the best things about Levitt is how many different genres we have that we can represent on the stage. But indie rock is my genre of choice, like when I'm just listening outside of work. And during the season reveal, we had a little bit of technical difficulty with their video, so it didn't get played. So I've been like, that kind of stinks. So this is my opportunity to be like, okay, people can see them now. But
yeah,
it's just a really beachy indie rock band that I feel like is just a perfect Levitt night. You know, the weather's going to be perfect. I just know it, and I'm looking forward to it.
So here's their song, October.
Will the light
doesn't shine just on anyone.
And I feel so fine on this harbor line.
Last night in Boston you stole the show. We still got months left to go.
Gotta love when they shoot a gorgeous video too.
I'm trying to figure out where it is, and my first thought was like, they shoot this is Shenandoah? Like, it has definitely Shenandoah vibes to it.
This is
Would
also
not be
making
shocked.
a question. I said they're kind of beachy, but like I've listened to songs of theirs that sound like beachy or surfier, and this is completely opposite of that. So that's also a cool.
Oh, sure.
Ooh,
Right?
there you go.
This is why I was like, Shane and I are going to pick some music, and I can't wait to see what Nate and Dan think of it, because in real time, we're going to get people who love music to kind of, give their reaction.
I'm just worried that they're still out there on that rock. Like, now my comm is somewhat damaged by it, where it's like, I know that they're fine, because why would they release the video if something
True,
happened?
right.
So I know everyone's
alert.
fine, but
She
like,
falls
it's
off the
also
rock at
just
the
like,
end.
I'm like just like a worried mother. Like, don't you kids play out on that rock?
See, for you, it's worried mother, whereas me, it's empathetic fear. Like, because I'm afraid of heights, and I'm just like, they're making me anxious. Not that they're going to fall, but like just
Like, she's just
like,
so lackadaisical out there on
Yeah.
that rock. It's like, don't,
Yeah.
no, what? But everything's fine.
But back to the music, it's awesome. I did not expect us to go down that path.
You got me and Nate on this thing. Like, we're gonna go somewhere.
Listen, I know anything is possible, but again, one more time there, July 18th, Happy Landing, wonderful band, terrific music.
See, Dan, if they fell, they would have made a happy landing. Sorry, I had to do it.
No,
You know what?
I didn't
That
even
was
go
well
there.
done.
And you went there, and
Yes.
now I can't not be there. So
I would not have been happy, yeah. But you talked about indie rock, and that was the way I was going to kind of almost describe the next band, very bluesy indie rock from Patty Pershela and the Mayhaps, which is... someone brought it up before where it was like, what music is going on in your head? A lot of times it's Patty Pershela for me. And she was on our show back last September. But this is some of the best music that I have the pleasure of listening to. They're going to be playing August 17th. So like you talked about, we're now post Musikfest, but still summertime, still free shows on the SteelStacks stage. So here is their song, Do It For Me, Patty Pershela and the Mayhaps.
You know I scratched your back until my last nail cracked. But honey, I got an itch that I can't reach. Oh, and it's right in the center, so I'll rub up against whatever, just to get some temporary relief. You don't do it for me, baby, I'm not sorry. Said I'm the best you've had, and I never meant to laugh, but I won't say it wasn't funny. So call me what you want, but as long as I'm all I got, well, I know that I'm in good company. Yeah, you don't do it for me, baby, I'm not sorry. So alright.
Total badass.
sock puppets.
Sock puppets.
Sock puppets. Just absolutely think she's terrific. Great vocals. Again, that rocking a bass that we joked about on the show is as tall as she is. But just writing some amazing music and great videos, and I don't know, I think the world of her.
We love a badass female lead, that is for sure.
Oh, for sure. And again, get to see her free August 17th on the Levitt stage.
That guy's playing an axe. I get it now. Like, it's an axe, it's guitar, he's playing an axe.
Yes, he's playing an axe. And that's going to come up again in a little bit, not from him, but also other people playing an axe. But
an actual axe?
An actual axe.
Wow.
But yeah. And interview with her was terrific too. Like, she has songs about mental health and songs about, you know, silly things like this. Like, she has such a diverse catalog, and definitely people should check out Patty Pershela and the Mayhaps.
Shayna, here's a question for you. You talked about loving a badass female lead, which, hell yeah, that's like one of my favorite things in the world. But like, what to you makes like a great act for, like, especially for, when you're talking about like the back half, the post Musikfest and stuff like that? Like, what mainly are you looking for out of an artist when you're kind of putting that lineup together?
It's a good question. The back half of this lineup happens to be a lot of female fronted groups. So that's not necessarily the only category there, but I just think strong vocals. I think you hear, and this isn't to knock anybody's musicianship, I think you can hear a lot of really tight bands, and you get some vocalists that just doesn't quite match. So when you've got that mix of powerful vocal and harmony with whoever else is in the band with that musicianship, I feel like that's what puts it over the edge. And then even more than that is just their energy and engagement with the audience, and not so much that they have to tell a story after every song, but just leave the audience feeling like they've had a connection in the end, and has that merch tent line being so long, and has Phil being like, okay, how do we, there was something good about them. Like, what are we going to talk about with them? Sure. But like, her vocals are what stick out to me, and it just matches that musicianship.
Totally.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And this might even give you something more to kind of expand upon that on is, and this was not an artist I had heard until it was shared at the reveal. And the instant it was played there, I was like, oh, hell yeah. So I was glad when you picked it here as well. Gina Chavez. So not only a badass female lead, but a Latin performer as well. And I just think I can't wait to see this performer. So tell me more about Gina Chavez.
So Gina Chavez to me is one of the, she was slated to play Levitt in 2020. Mm-hmm. So finally, 4 years later, she's going to be live in person. She did do a virtual show with us in 2020, Levitt in Your Living Room. And she actually did a songwriting workshop, a virtual songwriting workshop with some BASD kids. So like, it's just very special to me. And it was like, in that moment, it was a reminder that like good things can still happen. It's 2020 and everything's pretty bleak, but that was like a high point. And then, rescheduling over the last 2-3 years was crazy. So finally she's going to be on the stage, but I just think, her song content, like some of the lyrics and the social issues that she's writing about, they're so poignant. Yep. And they're going to be felt by so many people in the audience. And I just think it's so important. And totally. On top of that, just badass female musician.
Correct. Yes. I mean, you're going to be impressed by this one. Check out the song Bien Amada by Gina Chavez.
Tengo las palabras para amarte, tengo el abrazo para cuidarte. Cada mañana que levante el corazón, repica chiquitita por haberte visto. Tengo este ritmo para llevarte, tengo las manitos para endulzarte, cada sonido de mi voz.
So the thing that jumped out at me is not only in this version, but in what else I've seen of hers, is just the absolute comfort she has as a frontwoman. Like, just absolutely, completely, and totally command of the stage and the music. And it's a person who was born to play music, and I just love it.
Yeah. I like her drummer a lot. It's a great thing about even Latin artists who don't necessarily go out and perform, straight ahead what you would imagine traditional Latin music, and there are many artists out there who do that. You can't ever get away from the rhythm of whatever it is that you came up with, whatever it is that's just in you, and I like hearing those elements even in bands that aren't trying to be like straight ahead, like Latin bands.
Right. Just can't wait for this.
Yeah.
I basically, if Shayna, and that like I talk about this all the time on the show, where it's like I talk about the Musikfest moment, where it's the band you never heard of before, who has this sound you've never heard of before, and you're just like absolutely blown away with it waving over the top of you. It happened in the reveal show with Gina Chavez, where I was just like, holy smokes, what is going on right now?
Yeah, and just watching the workshop she did with students, like, she's just an amazing person. And the comfortability, you said, like, she was coaching this very nervous student through writing a song, and in the end they get a song, and just like the ability to work with a person, a seventh grader who has never done this before and was just like, yeah, I'll try it, to end up with a song in the end, I think is pretty remarkable.
100%. No, that is super cool. So we have one more to share, and this is going to be from September 13th, which is farther in the reaches of what we had planned to talk about tonight, but I couldn't not talk about Revan Payton's Big Damn Band, which was...
Oh, yeah. You love those guys. This was my favorite band from Musikfest last year that I had never heard of before. And it is just having not seen them play live, I listened to their music, and it was one of those bands where you're like, okay, there's going to be roughly between 5 and 20 people on stage. And there's 3. One of them playing a washboard. And then it's him and a drummer, and that's it. But that's what generates this. This is a song called Ways and Means by the Reverend Payton's Big Damn Band. It's a wonderful video, too, if you get to check this out. But just check this out. And this is the guy who I was talking about before. Does, in his closing number, play a literal axe on stage. But let's just check out some of his tune here called Ways and Means.
I just ain't got the means.
I mean, how do you just not love this and just say, yeah, give me more of that, pump it right into my veins?
Also, great ways and means.
Right?
That's great.
Yeah, I like, and this is 3 of them, then like what does 15 of them look like?
Exactly.
Like that's, yeah.
It is just crazy. I mean, it's such great music, and it's like, I hate to use the word simple, but like it's 3 people. Like it's just, but yet they're able to make this just cacophony of sound that make you just want more of it, and you're just gonna bebop along all night. And he's so charismatic, and so is Washboard Breezy. I mean, it's just so fun.
Oh, that's their name.
Washboard Breezy, yeah, and they're a married couple, like they're together.
That's the guys. Oh, okay, the guitar player and the washboard.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say was, so having seen them now twice, The closing number, he sings a song, I think it's 2 Bottles of Wine, and he starts off playing a cigar box guitar, swaps it out for genuinely an axe, like has an axe, somehow it's connected to the amp and it's playing guitar music. Then Washboard Breezy comes out, her entire washboard's on fire, and like that's the end of the show. Like
there would have to be.
You have.
What do you do after that?
Not only is the music amazing, but just the absolute spectacle of what's on stage is incredible. Can't get enough of it. And by the way, these people played Wednesday of Musikfest last year. Like, don't miss any day of Musikfest. It's not a bad day. Wednesday night, this absolute spectacle was going on, and I was like, I love life, and I still have 5 more days of this.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, I did want to talk to you about this, Shayna, because I just sort of had a recent experience. You're also still a big part of Musikfest, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
I myself just engaged in working production for a 10-day music festival, and I just got to say, no one else does this except you guys, and it's a very, very small club, and I understand so much more. And we just had one big stage. You guys have like 20 of them. But 10 days, that's a marathon.
We have so many great, besides our staff who are amazing, we have 1,000 volunteers who are doing everything, including stage management and stage hands and staying there till the band gets done and breaking down all the gear. So it is no small feat, but it takes everybody, that's for sure.
Yeah. 10 days. It's abstract on paper, and then you do it. And then you're just like, wow, this is insane. No one should do this.
It's 450 plus bands playing free over those 10 days.
Yeah.
There's a north side and a south side. There's all sorts of, in addition to the music, food trucks and beer trucks and all sorts of fun. The other part of this, though, is it's clean. It doesn't smell bad. There's no fights. Like, it's just such a wonderful experience. I've gone all 10 days for a number of years in a row, and there's never been a bad day. Like, it's one of those things where it's a very, very special, almost Shangri-La type experience. And all of my friends hear me talk about it, and they're like, you're a weirdo. I don't know what's wrong with you. And then they come, and within the first, at most, 90 seconds, they're like, why haven't I ever come before? I'm never not coming ever again.
Well, the first year I ever went was last year. You got me to come up. Mm-hmm. And we went down to the south side and we saw stuff at the SteelStacks. And I was familiar with that campus. And I was like, all right, this is cool. This is great. We saw honey badgers. We saw
the accidentals.
We saw the accidentals. And it was great. And I was like, all right, that was very cool. And then you said, like, you didn't see nothing yet. And then you took me up over to the other side.
And I said, we have to hurry. And you were like, why are we hurrying? It's a cool day. I'm like, no, we got to run. We got to get to go see Tioga. And then we got to do the Tisberries.
Yeah. And what I love is that the shutting down of streets within Bethlehem.
Right.
And then later throughout the year, as I come back to Bethlehem, I'm just like, oh, I stood in the middle of that street and watched Tisberries. Or, hey, Tioga played a stage that was down at the bottom of this, like, random parking lot or something like that. It's interesting that when your introduction to the city of Bethlehem is through Musikfest, it's kind of interesting then to like put the pieces back together for like regular Bethlehem.
Exactly.
Our social media coordinator did a video, and you'll have to go back and find it from last year, but she basically held up pictures of like the festival overlaid with the regular scene, and it was just really
that was very cool.
Yeah,
that's
to
cool.
see what it looked like, and it like gives you so much context to it. And also, when you were, just to talk about 10 days of a festival, when you said what bands you were seeing, I was like, oh, okay, so you were here on Tuesday last year.
That's exactly right.
I'm like, I know when you were here. I knew that schedule. So I like put that out of my mind and memorized this year's schedule.
Yep, absolutely.
And one last question for Shayna.
Yeah, go ahead.
After the fest is over, for how long do you continue to have dreams about the festival? Because mine, I wrapped at the mid end of May, and only a few days ago did I stop having side stage dreams. So
I get this, like, from having the shoulder mic, I feel like I hear static in my ear, and I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong? Like, I have that for days. Like, I put my head down, and I'm like, what's wrong?
What's wrong?
That's what I get from it.
You should just start wearing it in life, you know?
Leading up to the festival, I'll have dreams. I'll be like, oh my God, it's June. I haven't booked anything yet. Like I
Oh,
have
gosh.
this
Oh,
leading up.
right. Yeah, like actor's nightmare type stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing that we do here on this show is for people who do want to, maybe get a little bit of the insight of, oh my gosh, 10 days and 450 bands is intimidating. The Tuesday prior to everything starting, so this year that'll be July 30th, we do something called the Musikfest Exordium, which is like our preview show, and we give kind of a rundown of the festival. We tell you our kind of picks of the must-see bands. We highlight the people who've been on the show before who are coming back. We call those returning favorites. And then we also talk about the weather because that's important when it's an outdoor festival. And we bring on some music acts, and there's always some other shenanigans and surprises. But it's a fun time, even if you're not local, just to kind of get into the vibe of what Musikfest is all about.
And there's apps, right? Like there's a
Oh my gosh,
SteelStacks
the app for Musikfest is the
Yeah,
best.
the Musikfest, yeah.
There's a Levitt app too. So
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
you can do both.
The only thing I'll say though about the Musikfest app that's different is because it's necessary. It's this thing right here, and it allows you to kind of trigger of those 450 bands which ones you want to see, and it starts to build out your own personal little schedule day by day. And it blew me away the first year I used it, and then after that I was just like, now it's necessary.
It would have to be. Yeah. I do want to give you props, Shayna, that of the Philadelphia acts that you guys booked for Levitt stage, they're all near and dear to me. They're all people that I have great esteem for, especially a band like Stella Ruse, and who I can't remember some of the other ones that you had booked as well.
I'd have to
There's a
run
good
through.
bit of Philly bands, yeah.
Yeah,
With Brittany is Brittany?
Brittany
in
and
that mix?
Trambar's there for sure, yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. I'm sorry, it all runs together sometimes, both like in the lead up to the Summerfest and then like it never doesn't run together. Because then during it all runs together, and then afterwards you're just like, the heck did I just see? Like at the end of a summer, I'm not talking about even just like one specific festival, but like when you get like to the fall or even October, when that kind of like the crashing wave of that season, you have to sit there and just be like, the heck did I just do for the last 3 months? Like.
But Shayna, so we can follow Levitt SteelStacks on social media, and we can also follow Musikfest on social media as well. Anything else you would want to promote to make sure people stay plugged in?
No, I think you nailed it. The apps and the social media, that's going to be the best way to see those last minute cancellations when we have to put someone new in there
Right.
and stay up to date with everything.
Cool. Well, Shayna, thank you so much for joining today. Thank you for all that you do between the Levitt stage and the Musikfest, and year round too. We don't want to downplay what happens outside of August and September and into the winter. But thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for acknowledging all that. We have a great team that does all this stuff, so I'm happy. I'm always overjoyed to hear that people are enjoying what's out there. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.